Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 21. Round 5, it's right here in Jerez of our MotoGP World Championship in Moto 3 on board the Husqvarna for the Spanish GP. So starting off in free practice, and you will notice there is no development test in the bottom right hand corner because I have made a little mistake, truth be told. So when I started career mode today, I wanted to jump in and I wanted to play MotoGP 21 career mode, of course, as always. Continue on with my fantastic career, which is going so well so far. And for some strange reason, I don't believe this was my mistake, because I have the recording and it seemed like everything was fine. But I had everything ticked, every session ticked, and it sent me straight to the race. So unfortunately, none of this matters. The practice sessions don't actually count to anything, and neither does the qualifying session. But I just couldn't bring myself just to record the video and then leave it. So I still did a free practice session. So what I'm going to do here in this free practice session is I'm going to push as hard as possible, get as fast lap times as I can, and then do the same in qualifying. Of course, that is material because it doesn't really matter when it comes down to the Grand Prix. But at the same time, you guys can expect a race from the back of the grid in Jerez tonight at 8 PM. So you win some, you lose some, I guess. So I'm sorry about that anyway, guys. I really don't know what happened. Everything seemed to be ticked. Everything seemed like it was going to go to the plan as always. But unfortunately, it didn't. So I do apologise if that's kind of ruined the immersion, ruined the excitement for you a little bit. But at the same time, I'm really looking forward to starting from the back of the grid. So cast your minds back to 2016. Brad Binder on board the Red Bull KTM team started from 35th on the grid and ended up victorious right here in the Spanish GP. Is Grant going to be doing the same thing on Sunday? We'll find out. Well, we'll find out a lot earlier than that, because of course I always do it for 8 PM. 8 PM GMT is that is, of course. I'm not sure where you are across the world, but yes, for England, of course, it is 8 o'clock PM, which I absolutely love doing. I like the idea of doing the 4 PM to the 8 PM. I think I've asked this a couple of times if you guys are enjoying this, and so far, you guys really are. And I think the views and the comments speak for themselves as well. I like doing the build-up for MotoGP, because for me, in real life, when MotoGP is on, I don't miss a session. I watch the press conferences on the Thursday, watch all the free practice sessions, Moto 2, Moto 3 as well included. I try and watch every single bit if I can. Usually it'll be like on the background when I'm trying to do something else, but MotoGP always gets my full attention. So it's nice to see how things are developing, see how things are progressing, see how the rides are looking in free practices and even in the qualifying sessions. So of course we'll be doing our own little build-up at 8 PM as these things really begin to heat up. So currently as things stand in this free practice session, Grant leads by a whopping 3.7 seconds. Alcoba in second with Keita Toba. Salach, Guevara, Sasaki, Fernandez and Stefano Nepa are in 8th place. So not bad, but currently as things stand, we are on power setting 3, traction control on 3 as usual, and the rear tyre is taking absolute hounding here in Jerez, so it could be a wise decision to go for a harder rear tyre than what we usually might do. I think I'm currently running a soft front and a medium rear, or it's both mediums. I did toy around with a couple of ideas to see what we can make to make this race a little bit more entertaining, so I am toying with the idea of going for a soft front to maybe make that a little bit more difficult for us. I'm trying to now figure out ways to make it more harder for us. Of course, in Portimao, we stuck with power setting 2 throughout the entire Grand Prix. However, if you've not seen that race yet, I will spoil it now, so I suggest you pause. I'll give you a couple of seconds to pause before you decide to do otherwise. But yes, we did actually end up crashing in that one, and I used power setting 3. But I will be doing the same here today, so if I stick into power setting 2 for the majority of the race, and if I really need power setting 3, we'll utilise it. But if not, we'll stick to power setting 2. Got to try and figure out ways to keep this fresh and more challenging for us, because it's also at the same time more challenging it is for me, it's more entertaining, and at the same time more challenging for me, it's also entertaining for you guys as well, as we just invalidated that lap there. That's a lap that won't count, but at the same time, none of this counts anyway, so I might as well chuck in another lap, just keep going as is, and then eventually we'll get to the qualifying session, where I hope we can take pole position yet again. But of course, the pole position streak will be over for the actual race, because of course, as discussed already, this is just a Grand Prix mode and not in the actual career mode. Now, Pedro Costa is now into 2nd place. Good to see him getting into it. John McPhee in 3rd place. Oh, John McPhee. A rivalry that has brewed now to a boiling point between Grant and the Petronas Sprinter boys. Binder and Grant colliding in Austin. And now John McPhee giving us the big don't argue and touching our rear tyre in Portimao. So of course if you did see that and you've seen those sort of confrontation we had, you will probably note that I did go a little bit wide into that corner, which is true. However, in this game and in last year's game, you can make overtakes which to you are absolutely fine, it's perfectly clear, perfectly normal, but for some reason the AI still turn in and touch your rear tyre. And they put all their weight onto your rear tyre, so you basically just drop the front. And yes, that happened in Portimao, of course, as you've seen. But of course this lap is a write-off, there's no point in actually continuing, but what I am curious to see is how fast can we go with our rear tyres looking that hot. And also at the same time if the front is that degraded as well. Because this would be a good test for myself to really find out our own race pace. And we will see how things progress as we go on this particular free practice session. I'm only going to be running the warm and hot temperatures because I don't know what's going to be in the race yet. Actually, I only clicked onto it and realised it was on a race. And of course that could change at any point. But we are going to just do the warm temperatures for now because that's what originally I envisioned because it's Jerez. At this time of year it's usually quite warm, but you never know. The heavens could open and we still haven't had our full wet weather race yet. Of course, in Austin we had our first look at the wet weathers in free practices, but we still didn't actually have a race yet in the wet. So I'm looking forward to our very first wet race. Oh, a bit of contact there between Xavi Artigas and Grant, the one they call DrAce, and the young man who was in the Red Bull Rookies Cup last year is now getting a little bit closer and closer to the Husqvarna. So now on the left-hand side of the tyre for the Jorge Martinez Aspar. Now on to turn 9 for the right-hand side for Angel Nieto. Of course, we have had some magnificent battles in Jerez, and quite fittingly, Jerez Grand Prix is today. So, yeah, that's a nice sort of coincidence, isn't it? We've got the Jerez race coming up today, and then we'll see what happens. Actually, if you're watching this, the Jerez Grand Prix is probably finished. So if you haven't quite had your fix on Jerez yet, you're going to get a double dose. So MotoGP, I don't know what it is going to be because I'm actually recording this in the past for today. So you're listening to this on the Sunday and I actually recorded this on the Thursday at 4:55 PM. So hello from the past. Now going into turn 1, another slower lap for us there. It's still a decent lap nonetheless, but it's not going to be enough as we go into turn 1 on the... Oh my god! Grant's just dropped the Husqvarna again! So now moving on to the qualifying session, a bit of an accident for Grant and that rendered him out of action for the free practice sessions. So we'll move on to qualifying 2 in a moment's time as he was able to get into there with them quicker lap times. So we're now on board with the World Championship leader who has a very slim lead over Gabriel Rodrigo, just 5 points. Alcoba is the fastest man in this session currently as things stand with a 1:58.28. But of course you did see in the free practice sessions a moment ago, our laps were very quick, even on very worn tyres. And speaking of worn tyres, have a look in the bottom right hand corner of your screen there. We are still using those same tyres. I'm trying to make this as hard as possible. I am still in power setting 3, which I guess I probably should have stayed in power setting 2 to make it a little bit more interesting. But at the same time, I really wanted to see if we could still get a pole position with tyres that look as bad as that. So we'll soon see how this goes. We're going to do as many laps as we need, and then maybe even go for an absolute ridiculous lap depending if we get the pole position or not. So now onto the right hand side of the tyre for the Dani Pedrosa corner. Of course, a magnificent corner. I do recall when it used to be called the Dry Sack corner. Now changed to Dani Pedrosa, of course, for the legend himself. Turn 7, navigated extremely well. We do have a rider ahead of us, but we're not going to get any slipstream from there. I think that's Kaito Toba. I've seen the number 27 in the distance. So I do believe that is the Japanese rider. Now going on the right hand side for turn 9, it is indeed Kaito Toba. Now for the right hand side for turn 10, beautiful for Pellequet. Getting out on top of the rumble strip. You've got to be careful on that rumble strip there, he does sort of get you stuck on it. For the Crivier corner for turn 11, turn 12 coming up now. Ooh, a little bit wide there for the Ferrari. Coming into the Jorge Lorenzo corner, massive moment! Big tank slapper before entry for turn 13 for the Jorge Lorenzo corner. Now on the left-hand side, we'll use Kaito Toba's slipstream as well if we're close enough. Not quite, as we get a decent exit there, crossing the line now. Any moments now, we get a 1:47.628. So we have set the fastest lap, we do own pole position, and no one's going to get even close to that lap. So I'm very curious to see now, with power setting 3, brand new soft tyres. What lap can we put in? We're going to absolutely go for it here, ladies and gentlemen. Up by a 1/10.5 already. Now onto the left-hand side of the tyre for turn 3. Going close to the rumble strip on the right-hand side then and flick it into the left. Probably could have done with it going a little bit close to get that wide sweeping line. But turn 4 navigated well, up by 2.5 tenths of a second already. Now on the right-hand side for Ceto Pons, turn 5. Nice sort of sweeping line, that's good. We maintained a lot of throttle there as well. 100 miles an hour coming out of that corner. Now approaching Dani Pedrosa for turn 6. Braking about the 100-metre zone. A lot of front brake, going a little bit wide. Up by Marc Marquez number of tenths of a second there, 93. Now up onto the left-hand side for turn 7. Good stuff, good acceleration. Careful to get onto the rumble strip. That is a good exit there. Now into the Jorge Martinez Aspar for turn 8. Holding it, pushing forwards. That's good. This is going to be one heck of a lap, ladies and gentlemen. On the right-hand side of the tyre for the Angel Nieto. We're up by 3 tenths of a second. Could it be even more as we get closer and closer to the finish of this lap? Pelequi navigator. Well, we're stuck on the rumble strip a little bit. Can we flick it to the right? We did lose a bit of time there. Now into Crivier. Now into Ferrari. Hold it right. Oh, could a little bit of the rumble strip there. Up by 4 tenths of a second. Braking into the final corner. Oh, this is going to be good. Turn 13. Push outwards, yes. Turn 13 navigated to perfection. Oh, this could be a 146, ladies and gentlemen. Across the line we go. It's going to be a 147.010. Wow, what a lap. Now, I can't leave it that close to a 146, can I? It's a 147.010. We only need 11,000th of more of a second and we're into the 146s. I can't help but to go for it. I did actually lie to you. We're on the medium rear. I did think we were on the soft. But we're on a soft front with a medium rear. And now we're up by 2 tenths of a second. Ooh, a little bit wide on the rumble strip. Now up by another tenth. This will be enough. Now up onto the right-hand side for Ceto Pons. Pushing all the time. Familiar Dainese leathers ahead of you with the DrAce sticker. Coming closer and closer. By 3 tenths of a second. This could be a 146.5 or something ridiculous like that if we continue. Breaking it into Dani Pedrosa. Turn 6. Ooh, closer to the line. Oh, if we went any closer there, we would have invalidated the lap time. Goodness me. On the left-hand side now, Minio's now got himself up into second place. He's 1.7 seconds behind. A 147.010 is actually not that far away from the other guys, but it's still way too quick for them. As we now go on the right-hand side, maybe I shouldn't have actually think. We'll see at the end of this lap to see how close they are, because we did set a 147.628 originally, which would have been 6 tenths of a second quicker than Andrea Minio. So he still would have taken pole position even with those heavily worn tyres. On the right-hand side for Crivier, if we nail Ferrari correct, then it's a given. We're going to beat this lap time even quicker. Oh, that is beautiful. Going into Lorenzo Corner, we lost a little bit of time there, but that's alright. It's enough for me. Lorenzo Corner navigated to perfection. Coming out to the full throttle now. Up by a tenth. Oh, we've done it. We've absolutely nailed it. It's going to be a 146.929. So guys, that is a ridiculous pole position, of course, which is actually material. It's not going to count, but still, I really hope you enjoyed that nonetheless. Unfortunately, this grid will not count, so we'll have a brand new grid for 8 PM. But upon that note, guys, thanks for watching as always. Like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Hit the notification bell to be alerted to every single DrAce upload. And upon that note, guys, thanks for watching, and ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.